The moment before you approach someone you like can feel incredibly vulnerable. Your heart races. Your mind floods with what-ifs. You imagine rejection. You imagine embarrassment. But here's the thing, approaching someone you're attracted to doesn't have to be this stressful experience. In fact, there are specific psychological principles and techniques that can dramatically increase your chances of success while making the whole process less anxiety-inducing. I'm a psychologist, and I've spent years studying attraction, social dynamics, and human connection. Today, I'm sharing the psychological tricks that actually work. Let's start with the foundation, your mindset. Before you even approach someone, your psychology has to be right. And the number one psychological principle here is this: your outcome dependency needs to be low. What does that mean? It means you can't be attached to whether this person likes you or not. Now, I know what you're thinking, that's easier said than done. But here's why it matters psychologically. When you're highly outcome dependent, when you desperately need this person to like you, it comes across. People can sense desperation. It triggers their rejection response. But when you're coming from a place of genuine curiosity and low outcome dependency, it's attractive. You seem confident. You seem like you have options. You seem like you're not dependent on their validation. So the first psychological trick is to genuinely believe that this approach might not work, and that's okay. You're not approaching because you need this person to validate you. You're approaching because you're curious about them and you think there might be potential connection. That's a completely different energy. The second psychological principle is what's called the halo effect. The halo effect is when one positive characteristic influences our overall perception of a person. So before you approach, you need to identify something specific about this person that you genuinely like. It could be their style, their laugh, something they said, their energy, the way they move. When you approach with genuine specific admiration for something about them, it activates the halo effect. You're not just approaching because they're attractive. You're approaching because you notice something specific. This makes you seem more thoughtful and genuine. The third principle is proximity and repeated exposure, which psychologists call the mere exposure effect. People like people they've been near before. If you can, be in proximity to this person multiple times before you approach. Go to the same coffee shop on the same days. Attend the same events. Smile and make eye contact. Let familiarity build naturally. When you finally approach, you won't be a complete stranger. You'll be someone they recognize and have unconsciously started to like. The fourth psychological trick is mirroring. This is powerful. When you mirror someone's body language, speech patterns, or energy, they unconsciously like you more. It's called the chameleon effect. If they're relaxed, be relaxed. If they're animated, be animated. If they speak at a certain pace, match that pace. If they smile a lot, smile back. You're not being fake, you're adapting. You're showing that you're on the same wavelength. The fifth principle is the pratfall effect. This is fascinating. Studies show that people who are perfect and never make mistakes are actually less likable than people who occasionally mess up. So when you're talking to someone you like, don't try to be perfect. Be real. If you stumble over a word, laugh about it. If you say something awkward, acknowledge it. This actually makes you more likable because it makes you seem human and relatable. The sixth psychological trick is what's called the Benjamin Franklin effect. It sounds odd, but it works. Ask this person for a small favor, not a big favor, something tiny. Can you recommend a restaurant? Can you help me decide between these two things? Can you tell me about this place? When someone does a favor for you, they unconsciously like you more. It's because they rationalize to themselves, I must like this person because I just did something for them. The seventh principle is genuine curiosity. People are most attracted to people who are genuinely interested in them. So when you approach and talk to this person, ask questions. Real questions that you actually want to know the answers to. Don't interrogate them, but show genuine curiosity about who they are, what they're interested in, what makes them tick. People feel seen and valued when someone is genuinely curious about them. It's one of the most attractive things you can do. The eighth psychological trick is storytelling. Instead of just making small talk, tell a story. Stories activate different parts of the brain than regular conversation. Stories create emotional connection. They reveal your personality. They're memorable. When you tell a relevant story about yourself, this person doesn't just hear information, they feel connected to you. Just make sure the story isn't all about you. It should be relatable to them too. The ninth principle is the primacy effect combined with the recency effect. The primacy effect means first impressions matter. The recency effect means your last impression matters. So your opening moments are crucial, and your closing moments are crucial. Open strong with genuine warmth and confidence. Close strong by suggesting a way to stay connected or see each other again. The middle can be more relaxed because they've already formed an initial positive impression and will remember your closing impression. The 10th psychological trick is understanding social proof. People are more attracted to people who others are attracted to. So if you're talking to this person and other people give you attention or validation, if a friend comes by and greets you warmly, if someone asks your opinion about something, that actually increases how attractive this person finds you. This is why approaching in a group sometimes works better than approaching alone. You have social proof. Now let's talk about the actual approach. The psychology of the approach itself is crucial. When you approach, you need to seem like you belong, walk with purpose, make eye contact, smile genuinely, stand at an angle to them rather than directly facing them. This is less confrontational and feels more natural. Your first words are important. You don't need a perfect pickup line. In fact, pickup lines usually don't work because they feel inauthentic. Just open with genuine warmth. You could say something like, "Hey, I noticed you from across the room and I'd regret not coming over to say hi." Or, "I saw you reading that book and I had to ask, is it good?" Or simply, "Hi, I'm Name." The key is that you seem genuine, not like you're performing a script. Your body language, your tone, your eye contact, all need to communicate that you're genuinely interested. Here's the psychology of reading their response. After you open, pay attention to their body language. Are they turning toward you or away from you? Are they making eye contact? Are they smiling? Are they holding the conversation or giving short answers? These are signs of whether they're interested in continuing the interaction. If they seem closed off, you can say, "I don't want to interrupt you, enjoy your book/coffee/time, but it was nice to meet you," and leave gracefully. This actually makes them like you more because you respected their boundaries. But if they seem open and interested, continue the conversation. Use the curiosity principle. Ask questions. Listen actively. Show genuine interest. The goal isn't to convince them that you're great. The goal is to create a genuine connection where they can see you and you can see them. The 11th psychological trick is what's called the reciprocity principle. If you give value, people feel obligated to give value back. So as you're talking, compliment them genuinely. Make them laugh. Make them feel interesting. Give them good feelings. They'll unconsciously want to reciprocate by giving you good feelings too. The 12th principle is understanding attraction psychology. Attraction isn't just physical. Attraction is actually a combination of things: confidence, humor, intelligence, kindness, shared values, physical attraction, and something harder to define called chemistry. You can't control all of these things. You can't make yourself taller or change your face. But you can absolutely control confidence, humor, and kindness. These are often more important than physical attractiveness. So as you're approaching and talking to this person, focus on being your best self. Be genuinely confident. Find opportunities for humor. Be genuinely kind. These things are attractive regardless of your physical appearance. The 13th psychological trick is the vulnerability paradox. This might seem counterintuitive, but showing appropriate vulnerability actually makes you more attractive. It doesn't mean pouring out all your problems. It means being honest about things. It means saying when you're nervous. It means admitting when you don't know something. It means being real. People connect with realness. Perfection is boring. Vulnerability creates intimacy. The 14th principle is timing and context. Approaching someone is easier in certain contexts than others. Approaching at a party or social event is easier than approaching someone alone. Approaching someone who's not busy is easier than someone who's clearly on their phone or with friends. Approaching someone who has given you eye contact or smiled is easier than someone who hasn't acknowledged you. So read the situation. Choose your moment when the conditions are in your favor. The 15th psychological trick is persistence balanced with respect. If you approach someone and they're not interested, that's information. It doesn't mean you're inadequate. It means there wasn't a match in that moment. But here's where psychology gets interesting. Sometimes multiple exposures create attraction. If you see this person again in the future, you can approach again. The mere exposure effect means they might be more open the second or third time, but this needs to be balanced with respect. If they've clearly rejected you, don't keep pursuing. Respect their boundary. The 16th principle is understanding your own attachment style. How you approach someone and how you come across is deeply influenced by your attachment style. If you have anxious attachment, you might come on too strong or seem desperate. If you have avoidant attachment, you might seem cold or uninterested. If you have secure attachment, you're naturally more attractive because you seem confident and relaxed. So understand your attachment style. If you're anxious, consciously practice being more relaxed. If you're avoidant, consciously practice showing more warmth and interest. The 17th psychological trick is creating scarcity and anticipation. Once you've had a good conversation, don't overstay. Leave them wanting more. Suggest a way to continue the connection, exchanging numbers, finding them on social media, suggesting a specific activity. But then create some anticipation. Don't text immediately. Give them time to think about you. Scarcity and anticipation increase desire. The 18th principle is understanding the role of emotion in attraction. People are attracted to people who make them feel good emotions. So your goal when approaching someone you like is not to impress them with facts about yourself. Your goal is to make them feel something, make them laugh, make them feel interesting, make them feel safe, make them feel excited. Emotions create attraction far more than facts do. Here's what's really important to understand. Approaching someone you like will always involve some risk. There's a risk of rejection. There's a risk of awkwardness. But there's also a risk in not approaching. The risk of never knowing. The risk of regret. Psychologically, research shows that regret about things you didn't do lasts much longer than regret about things you did do and failed at. So approach with the knowledge that rejection is possible, and that's okay. One final thing, remember that this person is just a person. They probably get nervous too. They probably have insecurities. They probably wonder if people like them. When you approach with genuine warmth and curiosity, you're not threatening them. You're actually giving them a gift, the gift of knowing that someone finds them interesting. That's valuable. So approach with confidence, knowing that you're offering something positive. Thank you for watching. I hope these psychological principles and tricks have been helpful. If you're about to approach someone you like, I'm rooting for you. Remember, confidence, genuine curiosity, and kindness will take you further than anything else. Let me know in the comments if you've used any of these techniques or if you have your own approaches that work. I'll see you in the next video.